morning, guys. Happy Friday. Mr. Joshua with another video. So today I want to talk about these new comic book series that I'm making right now. And I've been drawing and writing down these little series over the past couple months. Realistically, I haven't had enough time over these past 2 months to get back into it because of work. Kind of sucks, 60 hours a week kind of takes up a lot of your own personal time. So I'm probably going to get back in on it pretty soon. So anyways, this comic book series that I'm making right now, it's Batman vs. Terminator. So I got the idea from this one guy on YouTube. I forgot what his name was, but a couple years ago I found his video that he made. It was a cartoon. It was Batman versus Terminator, and it was like the coolest thing ever. It was a short little 5-minute video, and it was Batman basically in the future war with the Terminators and John Connor and whatnot. And it was great. It was really great. And the way that he did the video was just, it was definitely the way that I would see, as Batman perceived as living in the timeline with the future war and whatnot. It was great. And in the little video that he made, what ends up happening is that you see Batman driving around his battleized Batmobile. He's going through this big giant battlefield full of HK tanks, Terminators, just run over Terminators and shit, going through this big giant battlefield to get to Skynet Central. And it was very well done. I actually got a hold of the guy about a year ago and over a YouTube comment. I asked him if he was ever going to make any more movies like this, and he said no. It was just kind of a one-time deal. And I was pretty depressed about it. It's like, dude, you have fucking gold right here. If you just make 5 more videos, this would be legit. So that's what inspired me to do my own version of Batman versus Terminator, and that's what I've been working on. I want to do 5 or 6 comic books of Batman, Terminator. I got some water here. Ugh. I'm tired as fuck right now. I'm so fucking tired. Last night I didn't get off work until 6, and every morning, Monday through Friday, I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So from 2 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. And I got into work at about 3:50 a.m. I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning so I can get my early morning routine done. Get up, get dressed, eat food, take a fat shit, and go to work. And that's all the time that I really have before I go into work, And yeah, yesterday was just a fucking monster, I just had nothing but bad luck all day long. My printer broke on me, so I had someone else that had to run down from Nampa to Boise to give it to me from Medina City. Medina City gave me an hour just to get back to Nampa, and it was just, I don't know, man, I had a lot of fuck-ups yesterday. But I managed to push through. I kept grasping around positivity as much as I could, and just push through. I made it work. So yeah, really tired from last night. I didn't really get a good night's rest. So with my version of Batman vs. Terminator, so what ends up happening is that it takes place in the past for the first part of the book, the comic book. And Bruce Wayne, he's getting a little bit older, and he finds out about this corporation called Cyberdyne, which in the Terminator franchise, Cyberdyne is the one who basically creates Skynet, essentially. So he finds out that Cyberdyne is basically making like an AI platform that Bruce Wayne could potentially use as Batman to help him fight crime. And he's all excited about it. It's too good to be true. So what he does is that he meets up with the people who run Cyberdyne, and he invests money in Cyberdyne. So what ends up happening is that Batman is primarily a big reason why Skynet became to be was because he funded Skynet. He essentially funded Skynet, and then Skynet becomes self-aware and blows up half the world. And so Batman, he's in his cave doing his Batman stuff. Then all of a sudden, all these missiles start going off, one by one, around the world. Nuclear missiles, regular missiles, just wiping out humanity. And there's a couple missiles that kind of hit around Gotham a little bit, because Skynet doesn't really see Gotham very much as a massive threat. So what ends up happening is that the missiles that do make it over there, it wipes out a lot of Gotham. And Batman's in a Batcave. The Batcave gets affected by the explosions, and all these boulders and everything start pummeling down. Big giant boulder hits Alfred, smashes him, kills Alfred, and Batman basically gets entombed in his own Batcave. And then he digs his way out. He sees Alfred's arm just hanging out from underneath a boulder, and just freaks the fuck out, and it's just emotional rage. After he's done mourning Alfred, he goes to computers trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and his computers are just going haywire because all these missiles around the world are just fucking going off one after the other. And the computers keep saying, Skynet malfunction, which is, basically allowing Bruce Wayne to know that Skynet became self-aware and started attacking the world. And he's, staring at his huge computer, hunched over, and he just whispers to himself, my God, what have I done? And then fast forwards to 5 years later, Batman, dug himself out of the Batcave. He buried Alfred, and there he is driving around the ruins of Gotham City, and he decides to go to Arkham Asylum. He hasn't been there in a long time, so he goes there to check on the inmates, see if anybody's alive. All the inmates died of starvation, and so he goes to check on his greatest arch nemesis, which is the Joker, and he assumes the Joker's still alive. He walks up to his big giant glass room that the Joker's in, and the only thing he can see in the middle of the room is the Joker just sitting there with his legs crossed on a chair, and his arms are all folded together. And he sits there and starts talking to the Joker. The Joker doesn't respond, and Batman gets angry and demands the Joker talk to him. And the Joker just doesn't say anything to him. And then Batman takes a closer look and realizes that the Joker has been dead for a while. The Joker, died with a smile on his face, and he choked on his own tongue. And so Batman, he's basically left alone. He has no purpose anymore. No one to fight, no one to protect. And then he's just, standing there with his head down. Then all of a sudden he hears, clank, clank, clank coming from behind him. And just, metal clanking coming closer, closer down this black hallway, because there's no electricity. And so Batman uses his Batarang, shoots up to the ceiling, and hides on one of the ceiling pillars. And so out of the darkness, he sees these two red eyes, getting closer, closer, closer. And then he realizes that that's big giant, metal skeleton walking into the room with a plasma rifle. And he takes a closer look and sees that's a robot. And he's completely baffled, confused. And he's never seen a robot like this before. So he's sitting there, watching the robot from the ceiling. And the ceiling has a bunch of, holes and whatnot from the explosions with the missiles. And so the wind catches his batarang just right and blows the batarang against the pillar, making a clanking sound. So Terminator looks up immediately, scans the ceiling, sees Batman hiding in the shadows, and starts shooting at him with a plasma rifle. Batman comes down and tries to fight the Terminator. The first thing that he does is that he uses the batarang, not a batarang, the grappling hook thing, whatever, wraps it around the plasma rifle, pulls it out of Terminator's hand, and lunges at him and punches the Terminator in the face. And nothing really happens to the Terminator, so he keeps on punching, pop, pop, pop. And then the Terminator looks back down at Bruce Wayne and fucking sucker punches him right across the face, cracking Batman's helmet that he wears. Is a, I'm gonna call it like a metallized helmet that he wears. So he fucking cracks that shit. Batman gets slammed to the ground. And he tries to stand up. Terminator bends over and takes one hand and shoves Batman down by his shoulders. Takes the other hand and starts punching him repeatedly in the face, cracking his helmet more and more and more. Then Batman reaches into his utility belt, pulls out this electrical charge thing, throws it at Terminator. Terminator gets shocked and he gets paralyzed for a good couple of seconds, just enough for Batman to get up and to retreat a little bit. And then Batman tries to punch Terminator again, but Terminator's a little too quick, grabs Batman by the wrist and squeezes hard enough to fracture Batman's wrist. Batman screams, and then he reaches down for his electrical batarang, throws it really fucking hard, stabs the Terminator right into the eyeball with the batarang, and ultimately shuts him down. And so Batman, falls to his knees, panting because he just got his ass kicked, fractured wrist, possibly concussion in the head. And he looks up, he's like, what the fuck are you? Because he has no idea what he was fighting. And so Batman, gets up, realizes that there's a port in the Terminator's head, and he opens it up and, pulls out the chip that he has in his head. And then he looks over down the hallway and hears more clanking sounds, coming down. But it's more than just one Terminator, it's like 3 or 4. So out of desperation, he shoots another grappling hook up to the ceiling and crawls his way through one of the holes in the ceiling and escapes. And so he makes it back to his Batmobile, drives away from Arkham, and the Terminators know that they see the Batmobile fleeing scene. So the T-800s, they send a message to one of the HKs to follow the Batmobile to destroy it. Batman gets onto the freeway trying to get back to the Batcave, and then all of a sudden he gets tailed by a HK, which is a hunter killer. Those hunter killers are those airplane things that fly around. So the HK's blasting away at Batman, and Batman's on the freeway doing like 100 miles an hour, dodging all these destroyed vehicles on the freeway. And his computer indicates that half a mile up, there's a couple of Terminators that are in a kill line that were, walking down the deserted freeway. And before Batman had enough time to do anything, the HK decided to shoot ahead of Batman's Batmobile. And so the plasma bullets, or whatever they're called, they meet up with the front of Batman's Batmobile, hits the engine compartment, and flips over the Batmobile. And he does a couple of flips, slides down the road, crashes into 2 or 3 of the Terminators that are walking down the freeway, and slides all the way down, comes to a stop, and then the HK just flies away because it seems that Batman's dead. The Batmobile's on fire. Batman tries to get out. Batman's got a fractured rib cage now, and his helmet that he wears it's completely busted. So he throws his little Batman helmet to the side of the ground and just kind of limps away. Looks behind him and sees these Terminators approaching him, but the leftover Terminators don't see him because they're a little too far away. So Batman just limps away, tries to get away from them, and he tries to get over. He tries to get into the tunnels for the freeway. And what ends up happening is that he notices that the freeway is just completely bombarded, just barricaded by all these destroying vehicles, and that he wouldn't have enough time to get through and get away. And so out of desperation, he sees a car with its back trunk open. He gets to the trunk, closes the trunk, and just hides there. And he's fading out a little bit too because he's in so much pain, and his body's so fucked up. And the Terminators, they come up to the tunnel, and they're inspecting the tunnel, and Batman, thinks for sure that they're going to find him, and this is it. And then everything goes quiet for a second, and then Terminators just turn around and leave. And so Batman decides to stay in the trunk, and he passes out, from all the pain and exhaustion, and he starts having nightmares about being in the middle of Gotham City with his Batman suit on, staring at his beautiful city. Then all of a sudden the city just gets completely destroyed by a nuclear bomb. And he looks over and he sees Robin being just completely disintegrated by the explosion. And then he wakes up from his nightmare. It's nighttime. And then he makes the long retreat back to the Batcave. And that was the end of part 1. And then I've already worked on part 2. I'm working on part 3 right now. But this is just a really long project I'm going to work on. I'm pretty excited about it. Another thing that motivated me to do this was because of the fact that Hollywood doesn't make any good movies anymore. They don't. They make shitty ass movies. And everything's so woke, and everything's just so shitty, Everything's either woke or gay. And it makes me angry. Because I remember back in the 90s when I was growing up, we had all these really cool movies that came out, and nothing was just politically motivated or anything like that. Everything was great. And I've always thought it would be really cool, regardless, to have Terminator versus Batman. I always thought that they had different universes that came together and just did mash up films. It'd be the coolest thing ever. But unfortunately, Hollywood will never do that, I don't think. And it's sad. So, kind of in retaliation, I decided to again make my own version of my own comic books. And these aren't the only comic books I've worked on. I've worked on my own storylines, my own comic book heroes and things like that ever since I was in middle school. But yeah, with this Terminator versus Batman comic, maybe in 20 years, who knows, maybe somebody will buy my comics off me and actually turn them into a movie. That shit would be pretty lit. And it looks like Coke might have beat me, so that sucks. Yeah, I just made it to my second stop. I'm on one side of the building and they're on the other side of the building. But yeah, Batman versus Terminator. And I think the cool thing about it too is that I think in part 4 is when he meets John Connor. So So that's going to be one hell of a story to talk about too. I have the basics down. You know, he meets John Connor in this war trench. You know, Batman's about to get killed by a Terminator. This Black Shadow comes out of nowhere. He shoots the Terminator in the back of the head. Batman looks up. He sees this Black Shadow staring down at him. He doesn't know what the fuck to think. And all of a sudden, the Shadow reaches down and offers his hand to Batman. Batman takes it. Batman stands up. Light shines on the person's face, and he finds out that's John Connor. The reason why he knows it's John Connor is because it says the name Connor on the guy's vest. And that's how he meets John Connor. But that's all I have for this video. And if you guys like my videos, please like and subscribe. I'm out.